Get your hands dirty. Do art. Hey everyone, happy Sunday. So today I am with some clay, finally something besides crocheting. I'm sitting here by the RV, there's that, trying to get out of the sun because that sun is very hot. And I got some DOS air dry clay, which I like working with. They come in white and also the sienna clay color, which I like working with both, but today I'm doing Christmas ornaments. So I have some cookie cutters that I got, different ones from the Amish store. I had to buy new tools because all mine are in the pod packed up, so I went ahead. I just couldn't wait anymore to do something arty, crafty, besides crocheting. So this is what I'm gonna do. I like DOS, it really dries nicely. It's easy to work with. It's soft but firm, easy to make impressions in, and it dries nice and hard and paintable. So I like that. So I'm gonna let you see some of the stuff as we're working with it, and we'll go from there. I hope you like art. I do. An important thing about doing clay is to make sure plastic bags available. So once you open your clay and you cut off the piece that you're going to be working with, the rest of it you want to put it in an airtight bag so it won't harden. And to cut the clay, it's like a cheese cutter. It's let's see if I can see this. It's a wire with 2 sticks on the end, and it just cuts through it nice and easily and gives you a piece, and the rest of it goes in the bag. So we're gonna get this on around. I definitely don't need something this long. I don't even know if you can see the wire or not, but you can either shorten it that way, or I just hold the wire and wrap it around my fingers a little bit. This thing keeps getting tangled up. Okay, so just hold it around your fingers like that and open up your clay. I'm not going to work with a large piece today. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now this is the part we're going to put in the plastic bag so that while we're working with our little piece, it does not dry out. We don't waste our clay. Air dry clay is pretty inexpensive, which is cool. Very creative. It's not like ceramics that have been kiln dried or cooked or whatever in the kiln. They are waterproof, whereas this is not waterproof. It can be water resistant as it dries, and then we put on varnish and enamel and paints and stuff like that. And you got to make sure you get all the air out, which I do not have it all out. So you can squeeze it in there. Get it all out as much as possible, and then you close it up. There you go. And that way it'll stay nice and moist for the next project. So with clay, you want to just work it a little bit to get all the air bubbles out and to kind of get it softer, and you want to put your hand into it, get the feel of it. Creative energy flowing. Oh, I'm a mess today, huh? For creative energy. had an emotional meditation this morning, and my Sunday Thoughts video. These videos are kind of, I don't know how the algorithms are going to do, because the Sunday Thoughts are definitely different than the homesteading ones, but I just want to make sure that that's part of it, because that's definitely part of my homestead and my life and who I am. So we have this clay here. I'm going to move my little plate and work on the table. I thought we had an extra dinner tray table. Now this is a roller. See these rubber bands on it? It keeps it at a certain height so that your clay will only get that thin. So you get to determine the thinness. You can also use like 2 boards, or you can use books or a deck of cards. A lot of people use a deck of cards so that they can do it. So, and you're just rolling it out like you would cookie dough. Let me see if I can get this where I don't have an overhead thing. We're just leaning it up against something, so God bless. Let's see if we can make this work. I don't know if we can or we can't, but we're going to try. I don't know if y'all can see, because I can't see the bottom. But hopefully you can. And see that I'm just rolling it out. Oops. You can just fold it over and blend it in and roll it out some more, just like you would do a pie crust, a cookie dough. It's pretty much the same process. You just want to get even. So instead of making Christmas cookies today, I am making Christmas ornaments. So I'm going to show you some of the ornaments. I got a coyote, and I have a deer. You see the theme, mountains, farm. I have an owl, and in pagan religion, owls are protection against evil. In farm life, owls protect against like hawks and stuff like that. So a lot of people will put an owl up over the garden or around their chicken coop, so it might scare off predators. I got a little angel because I like if I was a little one. Like I said, I have so many already. And here is the infamous tractor. Isn't that great? So some of these are going to make for Corey and Brian, and some for Walt and me. And I got 2 sizes of a heart because I like hearts, of course. And the hearts I like because you can use them all year round. All these you could probably hang in your kitchen or whatever. I see an air bubble in this. Let me show you guys the air bubble right there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Touch it. Goodness, I don't even know where you are. Where are you? It turned around. Hello. Air bubble right there. So when you have an air bubble, you just pop it or press it down. And I'm noticing that this has a lot of air bubbles in it, so I'm going to work it a little bit more and get all the air bubbles out. If you don't like getting your hands dirty, this is not the craft for you, for sure. Okay, it's feeling really good. I'm going to go ahead and get it where we want it at. So press it down. Press it down. Flatten it out like you would a hamburger or a pie crust. You know, getting it kind of worked in there. Pressing it towards the outer edges. Trying to get it all in there. And then start rolling again. This time I want to be more even with my strokes than I was the first time. I want to make sure I have it the depth that I want. And I'm not making holes, but I am pressing down those air bubbles. the thing about having these things in there is that sometimes it makes marks in your clay, which is not good. I'm going to scoot them out a little bit. What you can do, you can take them all the way off, which I might do for now. Let's take them off. They're just making marks in my clay. My art is never perfect, and I think that that's the really cool part of handmade, handcrafted items, is that they're always flawed. Machines make perfect things, humans make flawed things, but there's beauty in the flaws. And I actually like seeing the person's marks on it where they have struggled and maybe didn't make it perfectly, but in that perfect, it is perfect imperfection, just like I am and you are and we all are. Now, if you have some creases and stuff, you get a little water on your hands and you just smooth it out, not too much because you don't want it to get runny or to get too smoothed out. You want it to be still workable and not sticky. And just a little bit will do wonders. And you just sort of smooth it out till you get a nice smooth surface. And I think that's about the thickness I want. It's about 1/4 inch thick. A little bit more on this side. I think I'm going to smooth it out a little bit more on this side. Pretty even. My sponge fell down. You can wipe it with sponge. I like to get my fingers all dirty. So let's do the tractor first. I kind of like the tractor. So you take it, and you know there's one end that's blunted, and one end that's sharp, just like with cookies. And you put it down. And you press straight in, and you don't wiggle too much. I just like to get it nice and firm in there. And then you pull straight out, and then you take your dough from around the tractor instead of your tractor from around the dough. Now if it's stuck to the surface a little bit, we have a tool here, kind of like a spatula, very, very thin. And it will get right up underneath there and take it right off. See that? And there's that. Now the edges that are a little bit rough, because they'll be a little bit rough, especially on the bottom side. Again, you take your sponge or your fingers with water and you just smooth it out. You smooth out the edges. Now after it dries, we're going to smooth out a little bit more. We're going to sand it. But right now you can get most of it out with just a little water. And it just saves you time in the long run. It just makes it easier. So all those little dents, little crevices, and you just smooth it out. And then you work it with your hand a little bit if you want. I like when it has little fingerprints in it, because then you know it's handmade. And this is something your kids could do too, and they would totally enjoy doing this. Yeah. Now we have a paper plate here, and I'm just going to put it on the paper plate to dry. I'm putting it upside down because the other side was not as wrinkly, I would say, whatever you want to call it. So it was smoother. So the smoother side I want to keep smooth, so I'm going to keep smooth by putting it on a smooth surface. And then that's going to stay there probably for at least a day, sometimes 2, and just until it dries. The thicker your clay is, the longer it's going to take for it to dry. I don't know why my camera is making little weird blinks, but anyway, so we're going to let that dry, and then after it's dry, we'll sand it, we'll smooth it again, and then we will paint it. Now, if I wanted to make windows or decorations on it now, I would flip it over to the smooth side, the side that I'm going to show the world, this side, which is smoother. Now, there are a couple spots in there that need to be smoothed out, so I'm glad I flipped it over. Although we'll sand them out later, like I said. Now, we have these other tools. Really cool tools, right? And in these tools, we can cut, we can score. So if I was going to make some windows here, I could go just like that and make some tractor windows. And if I wanted the wheels to be more pronounced, I could go around the wheels like that. And you can always do the hubcap. And this one would have a big old hubcap. I'm not good at circles. We can do spokes. Now, and here's the bumper, whatever that is called. So you can draw in your clay, and then if you want to go a little bit further and you wanted to cut out some of your clay, like the windows, we use this guy. And this guy just goes right in here. Look at the big window. We don't have to go all the way through, but it'll make some dimensions in it that will help it look more real. You gotta keep cleaning your clay out of the tip. It's hard to do this and videotape. So, you do the little one to the same depth. If you don't want to go all the way through, you can go all the way through, which is cool too. But I kind of like just to make a little indentation there. And it just makes it more realistic. Now you can also do other things too, like if you wanted to add a little steam pipe on this or an exhaust, you could do that. You could build it up yourself. But I'm going to leave mine just like that. So there's the tractor, the beginning shape of it. Now I am going to smooth it out a little bit more with some water. So those edges aren't so rough, right? And I like using my fingers. Y'all know that. Get your hands dirty. It's okay. And just smooth it out. And again, like I said, once it's dry, you'll be doing some more work with it. You can work with it after it's dry. You can carve on it after it's dry. So it's nice to do it whenever it's wet. But then you're going to have to maybe do some more later when it's dry too. So I'm going to and nothing's perfect. Just remember that. Nothing that is real, that is handmade, is perfect. Although it's all perfect. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And there we go. So that is as simple as it gets. And what I'm going to do, guys, is we'll have another video in a day or two and where I paint this. So right now I'm just going to make some more I'm going to make a couple different ones. I think I want to make the coyote and the deer. You guys know I like those, right? And then we're just going to have enough to have a few drying, and that way when they all get dried, then we can paint them. So I'm going to stop talking and just enjoy the work. Let me tilt you down so you can see a little bit. We still have our clay here. We still have plenty of room on this clay. And I think we have plenty of room for the deer. Press down firmly. Pull it straight up. And then pull the clay up from it. There we go. And we smooth out the edges. Work out his nose. And his antlers. And then where I got the antlers at, I'm going to just do a little bit deeper in here because I want the antlers more defined. So I cut them out a little bit more because I am tracing them out a little bit. So where I have, this is a rounded edge and this one is a square edge. I use the square edge for the tractor windows, but I'm using the round edge for the antlers. And it's about trying new things. Now I might not end up liking this and I might change it all together, but right now I think it's pretty cool. And we'll just see. Like I said, it's hard to make any wrong calls because it's art, it's subjective, right? So I'm just making some dents in there where the other antler is. Kind of going through it a little bit. I'm marking where his head is outlined. So this may not, like I said, it may not work out at all, but I'm going to give it a try because I like things to be more detailed, and that's probably part of the problem. It'd be so much easier if I just let things be simple. I gotta complicate the heck out of it. actually ended up breaking off that antler, but I'm going to put something else on there. I'm going to make an antler to the other side because it was just like an ear. It wasn't really an antler. So, where's my... There. I'm going to roll this out a little bit. Press it a little bit. Here, that's a little bit better. Don't tell anybody I use spit. The mom and me, right? So let me see what this looks like. Does that look like more like antlers? I don't know, kind of messy, but hey, it's okay. First try. We have other tools here too that can just sort of do little things. I want to push it up in there a little bit, thicken it up, smooth it out. So we will use some of our other tools. Round into this. When you're gluing one piece onto the other, you got to kind of scrape it in there to make sure that it's sticking. And I want to put some lines in it because you know that antlers are kind of like tree trunks, right? And you can make fur in yours, you can do anything with it. I'm just trying to smooth it out a little bit. And stick it on there nice and firm. So it won't come off later. His little nose. I'm trying to get his nose done. Should we put eyes on this guy? I'm going to put a little eye in there too. Oh, good eye. Okay, like that. And his little white tail. Because you know their tails are white, right? So the underside and the overside is the color of their fur. How's that? There he is. Not perfect. The paint will help a lot. So we're going to put him to dry. And like I said, we'll still be sanding and doing some work on him to get him where he needs to be. This underside is a little messy. His antlers are probably the most fragile because I did take off some depth and weight by working with them. And we're going to put him right here with the tractor. Scoot this tractor over a little bit. And once they dry, it's amazing. They'll pop up from that wax surface easily. Right now they're kind of sticking to it. So there's two. Let's see what we have left over to make another one. Come on, tractor, get off of there. I'm going to turn him over. Keep him up. And make sure when you have him on the surface that he's not up on the side, because whatever position they're in, that's what they're going to dry in and become hard in. So if it was up on the side, it would have a bend in it. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and after they dry, we will paint them together and sand them and everything and get them ready for hanging on the Christmas tree. Oh, I forgot one thing. Darn it. What we're going to do is put a little hole in them. Where's my straw? So you take a little straw. Can y'all see the straw? Yeah. It's just a tiny straw. And wherever you want your hole to be, that's where you're going to put it. So we're going to put one right there in the cab and right here in the head. And that they will hang. It's kind of the same position as the eyeball. I don't know if that's a good place to put it. So I'm going to change that hole. See how easy it is to work? You just cover it back up. Let's just fill it back in. On this side, I'm going to put a little extra dough in there, put it back in there.